This is a follow-up video because happy Easter. A little while ago, we did a video talking about how I think Baron Tamago of the Big Mom Pirates is the father of Charlotte Smoothie, Charlotte Citron, and Charlotte Cinnamon, whom are all sisters, and all four of these characters are members of the Longleg tribe and are the only Longleg tribe members out of the entire organization of the Big Mom Pirates. What's also quite interesting about them is that specifically Charlotte Smoothie and Baron Tamago share a very interesting and kind of intimate moment as they are discussing Pedro and the Royal Poneglyph in the chamber that the Royal Poneglyph is held. Here we see some other themes emerge. Both of them could be egg themed because the weird greaves that Charlotte Smoothie wears do look like cracked eggs or Fabergé eggs at their very bottom. Whereas, of course, Baron Tamago is the user of the egg fruit and is always wearing a cracked eggshell as a part of his pants. But both of them are also beverage themed, as Charlotte Smoothie is drinking a beverage from a woman she wrung out moments before, thanks to the powers of the Ring Ring fruit, whereas Baron Tamago has always had a cup and saucer as a hat and is drinking alongside her during this conversation. So, with that being said, the only caveat to them being father and daughter is that the age gap is not big enough, with Charlotte Smoothie being 35 and Baron Tamago being 46. However, here is the theory. I think thanks to the egg fruit, Baron Tamago has been 46 for a very, very long time. What I'm suggesting is that his fruit has given him immortality. Because you see, it's very odd, and we've talked about this a number of times now, but I think Baron Tamago could be a member of another subtype of the Zoan fruit class, in which he is something that I'm going to call a life cycle Zoan, because you see, in being the user of the egg fruit, Tamago is very unique because he doesn't just transform into an animal, he technically is one of the only Zoans who is stuck being transformed all the time. Because in his normal state, when he appears to be a man, he is actually an egg. Once that form is damaged, he turns into yolk and is reborn as a chick. Once that form is damaged, he is reborn once again and turns into a rooster, only for that form to be broken to revert him back to being an Eggman. So, with all that being said, this is one of the weirdest Zoan fruits of them all, because even unlike the mythical Zoans, this makes the user stay transformed all the time. And what's weird about it is that their base form is not even their real body. The real body, the body that stays consistent throughout the transformations, is the yolk that comes out once the outer body is harmed. So technically, Tamago, or the man who would become Baron Tamago, isn't even himself as he was before he ate the fruit, because now his real body is just this weird yolk blob guy. So with all that being said, I am of the belief that perhaps he ate the fruit when he was 46 and he's been 46 ever since. Therefore, he could be as old or older than Big Mom herself. Therefore, him having a daughter who is 35 makes a lot of sense, because his actual canonical age doesn't really portray how old he actually is. And I say this all to say that there has to be more rules around this fruit, because he technically is immortal now. He can't actually die unless the yolk body, that is his actual body, is harmed. So we don't know anything about him. Actually, we don't even know what he originally looked like, because it appears as though that the eggshell is just a part of his body and it's not actually clothing, which is another odd thing about this entire situation. So what I'm saying is that these life cycle fruits, or at least that's what I'm calling them, could give the user a form of immortality in which they are stuck in this weird cycle of going through the life of a particular animal, but they themselves perhaps don't age, or their actual age stops mattering after they consume the fruit. Because there is no old, there is no young, technically, because they are in a perpetual state of representing the adolescent and adult state of that chosen animal. So that's why I don't think Tamago or anyone with a fruit of this subtype actually ages. So in the end, it would make sense for him to have a daughter whom is as old as Charlotte Smoothie. So with that being said, I just wanted to clear the air on why that little oversight does make sense in the long run. But if you are enjoying the video, click the like button. And if you want to see more from me, click the subscribe button, followed by that bell so you never miss a video. In addition, could you please hit the hype button because it does help. With that being said, give me your thoughts and tell your friends about Polypede Works.